I don't know. I had a really bad interaction this morning with somebody in my complex. I know that most of you watching my content, like, you're already either suspicious of autism, like you think you might be autistic, or you're self-realized, or you're diagnosed. You're somewhere on this kind of a journey, on this kind of a timeline. More and more, especially after having received my diagnosis, but especially after having moved into this particular place where I live now, I'm really starting to become aware of how inaccessible my apartment complex is. I don't even necessarily mean autistically speaking, even though I do also mean autistically speaking, but just generally, I don't think, and this might be a scary thing to comprehend, but I think it's really important that we do think about this. So I'm going to apologize if this is at all triggering to you. I don't mean it to be. We're all one minor inconvenience away from disability, like permanent, life-altering disability. It doesn't matter if you bought a condo that wasn't accessible because you thought, well, I'm fine right now, and it doesn't matter. Of course, the only people fighting for these, important accommodations and accessibility issues are the people that actually need them. And there is a percentage of these people who didn't need these things for their whole lifespans. It happened to them one day. And there may be a time when you find there's a new challenge in your life that you weren't prepared for. And this is such a sticky thing, and I didn't really want to talk about this on here, but it does really get you thinking that not everybody is considering just how easy it is. It doesn't matter if you're a bodybuilder. It doesn't matter if you are an Olympic athlete. It doesn't matter if you're a billionaire. I was just met with such, I don't know, and it made me really upset. And I think I was actually quite rude to this person this morning. It wasn't really my intent. I was really frustrated at the response that I got, at the well, just to deal with it response that I got was kind of crushing. Because what if I was waiting for the handy dart? Or what if I had a caregiver who was coming over? And what if I had a delivery that maybe it's a meal delivery or something that I can't, and there's not another way? There was no plan B made. If you don't know, they're doing some construction outside my building, and we've all been informed that nobody can come in or out that way for the next 2 to 4 days, which is also wonderfully specific. Thank you for that. There should have been some kind of another signs put up outside for our mail delivery. There's a young eagle being chased by crows outside. Absolutely wild. I feel like that's symbolic in some way. It's that is the most accessible entrance to our building, though, and we do have seniors who live here. And I find it so frustrating that the response that I was met with was just, well, that's not my problem. And I really hope for your sake that it never is your problem. I really do. I hope that nobody has to go through what a large percentage of the population has to go through on a daily basis. I find it frustrating, and I find it really scary that it isn't the bottom line, that we aren't as a society necessarily, and this is not everybody, this is not all encompassing, of course, and I don't speak on behalf of all disabled people, of course. That is never my intent with any of the content that I make, but I do find it frustrating that people don't recognize. And I would appreciate if you have a story in regards to this that you wish to share. Like, my comment section is a wonderful place to do this, to get a little bit of the word out, to talk about an experience that you've had, to share your thoughts on what it feels like sometimes when people, they don't put those two dots don't necessarily connect. It's really hard. I went to phone the property management company and, well, I can't deal with that at this point. It's best that you just talk to so-and-so. And then, of course, I get transferred and it's just a voicemail. I don't know if I was just kind of too ignorant and I thought that they would have had another plan in place, because they had put notices in our elevators to say, this is going to be a thing. But then to be met with well, nope, was just... I wasn't really prepared for that. I also really wasn't prepared for the tone in which it was delivered. That was hard. That was really hard. And I, as a result, put my wall right up. I was quite rude. And I just turned and walked away. I think I snapped a few little arguments back, just like this. You realize how ridiculous this is? Oh, that's not really my problem. Okay. That's not really your problem. And I know it isn't really your problem, it's my problem. I get it. And that it was so triggering because that is how so much of my life is spun. Well, that's not that your sensory issues are your problem. Of course, they're my problem. So obviously, when you say something like that, it's very indicative of the fact that you just don't care. And if you say you do, well, that's not how you're presenting yourself to me. You know, social issues that I encounter, well, that's your problem. Okay, but if you care about me, as I feel like we should be caring about each other in this world, and I know that's a very well, that's just not how the world works. We have to be looking at a bigger picture. I know this was a bit of a preachy one, and I didn't really mean for it to be. These are thoughts that spin in my head very often, and I felt like even though I really wanted to talk about something else today that was very much in continuation of the autistic experience that I've been sharing with you guys, know that there are going to be other thoughts and other things that I do plan on sharing on this channel. It's always going to be, because you have to remember, I'm autistic. Everything I see in this world is through the lens of autism. So I can't ever just and set that aside. So there will always be my autistic spin on things. But this is just something that I've been mulling over. I got really upset. I came back to my apartment. I had a meltdown. I threw my shoes at the door and I screamed. And I felt like I was going to start crying. It didn't manifest. Sometimes it just sits right behind my eyes. And I just yelled. I just wanted to go back downstairs and just yell. But that's not helpful. So I yelled and I screamed and I cursed and I was just so fucking mad. And again, that's just not helpful, but that was unfortunately my response to the situation. And I feel completely helpless in these situations. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to make this better. And I can't imagine that I'm the only person that feels this way and that finds these things frustrating. And as always, now's going to be the time. I wish to invite you, if you are able and you feel safe to do so, please share with me your thoughts and your comments down below. And let's get a little bit of a discussion going. You guys know how much I love to hear from you and how much it's appreciated. And hopefully I haven't stirred the pot and the haters just don't come out of the woodwork and give me hate. Know that I think of this not because I want to be preachy and whatever. It's just I genuinely see a problem that I know a lot of us see and a lot of us brush, including myself, brush under the rug. But it is potentially there. And if you live long enough, you will experience the need for an accommodation of some kind. It is just a fact of life. So that's really all I want to say today. I don't know how long or short of a video this was. I hope that you guys stuck with me through it. I love you all. And I want to, as much as I want to put my voice and my sort of message and my thoughts and things forward, I also want this to be like a kicking off point for you guys to share your stories. So with all that said, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video, to be here with me, to comment, all of the things. I love you guys more than you will ever maybe know. And before I burst into tears, really awkwardly on camera again, I will catch you guys all in the next video. Bye for now.